Okay, thank you for watching here on YouTube Live at Blooming Light at Blooming's Tribe. If you happen to be logging in live, let me get the dates right. It's actually Tuesday. It's Tuesday, September the 2nd, 2025, if you're logging in live. And that is going to be approximately 4:06 p.m. Central Standard Time in Beaumont, Texas, in the United States of the Americas. Okay, if you're logging in at a later time of day, then just thank you for watching. Okay, so the title says the covert tactics to targets from speaking out. Okay, those of you who understand what that is, and if you don't, it's okay. I invite you to do your own investigation and get your own views and thoughts on the matter. But the bottom line is that it is a thing and it is real and it is happening to people every day that are not necessarily famous, that are not necessarily a part of the military or government, that are just regular everyday Joe Schmo citizens. Okay, and yeah, this thing gets kind of convoluted. Now, I'm not going to get into all of that on this live. Okay, I got plenty of content here. There are other creators who are making that content as well as on TikTok. If you're wanting to know more about racketeering, RICO charges, what that's all about, and how that falls. So before I get into, there's a collective message. It is a read, kind of non-traditional, okay? And here's the thing about covert style, any covert style of malevolent behavior. Any covert style of malevolent behavior is going to be just that. Not obvious. Okay? Is going to be physical, emotional, psychological. It's going to be all of those things, but it's going to be those things behind the scene. Now, whether, there are many of you out there that would want to call folks like myself conspiracists. Well, I'm going to invite everyone to learn how to do their own due diligence instead of swallowing anything from anybody, including me. Okay? Learn how to do your own before you snap at a viewpoint and a judge. Oh, this is that. Okay, well, okay. And all you have to do is troubleshoot critical thinking. If you were a country, okay, if you were a leader, a group, a community, a business that needed to maintain at all costs a level of control and power so that you can monopolize or have a certain level of leverage. Now, I'm not saying that this is fair, but what if that was the kind of vibe that y'all rolled on? If that's the case, then by way of that, you would have to withhold certain information from your people, okay, in order to keep that way, okay, to keep it that way. So what will happen is any individual who might either know about it or they could be on a receiving end of something weird and they know about it and they have the power, the access, or whatever to make that all fucked up for you. What would you do to that person or people like them? And if people would go down that train of thought, it really wouldn't be that deep and that hard to figure out that, oh, yeah, I would be fucked up. I would like target them people and I would do it. I would use all of my money, energy, power, resources to do so. Simple dimple. I would execute that. I would push that to the farthest length in which I can. And so folks like myself and my son and many others have been targeted in just that way. Okay. Now, the tactics they vary. If you're someone that is bold, Me, it depends on my mood. It depends on where I'm at. Okay. But straight shooter, I'm a shoot from the hip, and it's gonna hurt. Yes, I am. Especially if I get pissed off. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt bad. But it's gonna be the fucking truth. It's gonna hurt, And the fascinating thing is people who's your stalkers, the collectives, because they got stalkers, as if they were Princess of Zamunda, bitch. It's like, nigga, I don't even have shit, nigga. Anyway, I'm just joking. But I mean, that's the vibe though. And it's because it be money on the table. I'm telling y'all, it be money on the table, and it's insane. Okay, shit. So if what they'll do is various different things. First and foremost, it's called community organized. The official court term is called organized community harassment. Okay, that's how they will recognize it as you do proceed. If you proceed to court to file a RICO complaint, then that is how it listed that they will acknowledge. And that just simply means there's an enterprise of individuals who have gotten together. Okay, they use what they call fusion apps. If you're not familiar with that, fusion centers, look into that stuff too. Okay, I'm not trying to tell people this just to swallow because I'm saying shit. I am encouraging people for 5 minutes, could you please just stretch past everything that you've ever known and consider just for 5 minutes the possibility that there's other than your experience. And then with that curiosity, research and see what comes up for you, and then make your own decision. You see that? Instead of somebody coming on telling you, you gotta look at it, see it this way, and believe it, and just look into it. Okay, so now it's money in this. Because I promise you ain't nobody doing shit for nothing. There's some money. I'm talking government. Government may have, on the macro scale, government's interest is a little bit, it's mixed and a little different because they know stuff that the collective humans, standard population, do not. Okay, just like Hollywood. Okay, Hollywood, the elites, like we know that, we see it. Okay, just like them. Okay, so they know full well, nigga, they ain't finna tell none of you nothing. So their benefit, they know something about the target. I promise you. They know something about them. And that's what they want. And that's what they want. Okay, so they trying to restrict that shit. Anywho, so this is what happens most of the time. We're going to get into the reading here, so it's not going to be a full teaching on the whole thing, MK Ultra, MK Naomi. There's other projects that some of us don't know about, but they never ended. Okay, targeted populations are treated as if we were potential terrorists. Okay, to sum that up, if anyone out there is wondering how is it so bad, well, it's a torture program. Your life is being infiltrated in every angle constantly. Okay, and yeah. Okay, that, and what they're doing is employing on all these various levels, okay, from small to large. So they have big time motherfuckers that they're working with to come for the target, but then they also are dealing with, your standard Joe Schmo, the neighborhood people. that easily, especially if they're radicals or poor, or, you know what I'm saying, entitled, a thirst for blood, like they usually target their harassers in this way, okay? Because these would be the people who are most likely to want to engage in such behavior. It's going to be harder to sell somebody who is a grounded and practical person and who has a heart chakra activation and who had that. It's harder to sell that to somebody. Yeah, would you please, go ahead and do this, it's hard to sell. So they really have to target people that, like, they watch them the same way. They watch these communities, they watch these leaders, they watch these groups, they watch them. Yes, they do. Yes, the fuck. And in some cases, it's by way of those of you who aren't sure. It's not always Big Brother coming with no, what is it called? Men in Black. It's not. It's get the commercialization shit out. Okay. Sometimes it's in the form of the target's mother, the target's sister, the target's aunt, the target's father, the target's cousin, sometimes that is how they come. In other cases, it'd be like government officials. They'll flash their badge. They ain't gonna say, I am a corrupt government official. They'll just flash their badge and say, hey, give y'all some bogus paperwork and some bogus, some trumped up, manufactured, tampered with. Okay? And convince people that way. Anywho, it's utter infiltration. It is not even nothing remotely normal about it. I know some people are going to argue and say it's the same, and I respectfully disagree, because it's not. But only because, listen, let me share, let me explain. I've had my share of regular standard problems. This ain't it. This is not it. This is something else on a sick level. This is TV shit that no one ever thinks that they would ever experience and live, because a lot of people don't. Some would say, well, what are you going to do? I know that. What are you going to do except for what you can do? Correct. But how many lives are gone and dead because, well, that's the only thing that they're getting? Targets isolate, but it works for the abusers. They isolate because, again, if all of these things are happening to you, you start to not know what and that's natural. That's not something wrong with them. That's a natural process. If your life has been assaulted and weird and unusual things and strange and weird and odd, and there's a consistency that's starting to build with that, it can only so many times be a coincidence. It can only so many times be a fluke. It can only so many times be that the target is tripping, or because they're the middle child. It can only be so many times that this is something to do with that kind of shit. Or, they're just drama. It's usually the drama starters is the ones going around and saying that about the target. The targets are called that because they kick up a ruckus because their lives are being tampered with like it's some kind of game show. As they attempt to just live their lives like everybody else. I know that someone like me, I know that as I became an advocate, an activist, social media, hold on, I was getting a message on there. I know I got a lot of enemies, especially Southeast Texas for sure. Most certainly. And here's the thing. From Southeast Texas, what's unique about the experience versus, let's say, when I was in Nevada, what's unique is this. As me and my son migrated to Southeast Texas, the first location was called Silsbee, Texas. Some of you may not even be trying, and it ain't shit there. Okay. That was a setup. Anyway. This is what I want to explain though. I'm humorous a little bit because you gotta kind of laugh. It's like, okay, what are you gonna do? Like, this shit happened. Yep. In terms of like my practices or my beliefs and things, me deconstructing and, the things that my journey, which is mine, no one else's. Okay. Here's the thing though. I had all respect for everyone around me. I'm going to say it again. I had all respect for everyone around me. And what do I mean? Let me explain what I mean by that in real time, not just a bunch of words. What does it mean? It means that I wasn't chasing them down behind their cars, throwing crystals at their cars, throwing crystals, at their door, and I'm just being silly with that analogy. I wasn't licking shit and then stamping it on their on their door and shit. Ooh, let me have, woo. Like, I wasn't even going up to people. When I was in Nevada, because it's more broader and open-minded in the West Coast, but when I was there, I was actually building the business. I was advocating. I was doing the back work, okay, and the administration stuff as well as the creative. So I was building, advocating, advertising, putting it out there, going, because that's the environment for it, okay? I knew that I felt the vibe very heavy the moment we got here. We felt like we were drained almost fucking immediately. So, and not due to the the standard moving. It's no. And I tracked that shit too. I tracked it. It was off. Something wrong. And I'm not accusing, listen, and this is not even about saying that it's bigger than some individual person. I understand this is about energy and frequency. I understand. That is some other shit. But I respect it. You know, you all see me get wild and out and raunchy now, but that's because this entire time, yeah, my son is being violated. That is why you all hear that. You all hear, you know what I'm saying, every blue moon, me going the fuck off and like cursing people into a, like, nigga, like y'all hear me going to the left, it's like, die, nigga. Yeah, you damn straight. You damn straight. Because that's what the fuck they've been trying to do to my son and me. And I don't need, see, I have respect and I can appreciate various different views, points, and opinions. And that's the beauty of human nature. That's the beauty of being an individual. But I don't need someone to validate my truth. See, a part of going through narcissistic abuse is the gaslighting to make you question your reality. And when you're dealing with covert narcissists, these are performers, and these are going to be the ones who look like they're always helping everybody, and they're usually telling the story that's in the reverse. They're not telling the story of truth. They're not telling, and they will not, because that's the whole nature of having a deep problem, a deeper one. Not a little stress, not a little anxiety, not a little PTSD from being abused. Sick, perverse, delusional, unnatural passion, sadist. And that's what these people are. That's what they all are. So pardon me if you happen to click on one of my videos someday and you see me saying nigga, you know, yes sir. But don't come nowhere near me with nothing bogus though, trying to punk me from speaking. And I hope that is loud and clear. Understood? One thing that I will do though, because I'm somebody that's always learning from my enemies, I study my enemies. So one thing I will do is just become just, you know, a little bit more slick, just like them. A little bit more creative and alter some things just to appease this illusionary matrix around me shit. But I'm still gonna speak. I'm not going to stop talking about this stuff. I'm not going to stop being me. I'm not going to stop telling my story. I'm not going to stop. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to stop sharing my views. That's the beauty of our experience in the Americas. At least it's, let me rephrase that. It's supposed to be the beauty. You know, there are tons of people out here right now. They got all kinds of shit that they're doing and creating, and many of them clowning me. And guess what? I don't care. I don't. And you know, maybe, listen, to be fair, in part, maybe it's because I am not vested, just to be fair, I'll go there. all things being equal, okay, to be fair, it's possibly because I'm not vested in their social media. I'm not, I so it's easy for me to not care. Do you see it from that perspective? I'm saying I don't care, even though I know, but it's also I'm not vesting my energy. I'm not vesting my time to find what they are doing, their creation, so I can hate watch and so I can sit there and binge watch. And I much rather be creating my stuff as well as my other life shit, my son, and everything else, rather than investing in my haters. Like, ooh, like that's their life and they have a right to it. That's them. I'm not saying I agree. I'm not saying anything that they're doing and saying is even accurate. I'm simply saying that's their business. So these haters, this I believe, just to tie it all in, as for me, and this is so with the other targets as well, something similar. A part of it becomes stuff like that. You have a collective of haters. This is a social media thing, and they're not. When you're not balancing out, you feel like people are a threat to you. I'm sorry. That's just the way life is. If you don't get that shit, you can be brilliant, handsome, beautiful, and talented, have all these things, and all this. But if there's this other stuff, you're going to see somebody, depending on what that is, going to trigger the and then it's going to become a project to shut that up because it's bumping up against something that person is not ready or capable to review. And so instead of that, they call it being self-aware. Instead of that self-awareness, they then push it outward because they are not self-aware. Inner self. So then it's projected out towards the threat. So if there's an up and coming content creator influencer, it's like, whatever happened to healthy competition? I don't even think it's such a thing anymore. I think all shit is pretty much rigged when it comes to like competitive stuff like sports and certain shit. Cause I'm like, what happened to the regular shit? Like, you win some, you lose some. You play the game, but you play it with honor and integrity. Unless you're talking hard and your motherfuckers like her, bitch, fancy Cardington, and I want that. I don't know if they have belts, crowns, bitches, ice sculpture. That's foul. But that's what folks is on, Anyway, I'm getting off track. So this is how it gets and morphs into something crazy big. So you got people, attempting, like breaking in targets' homes. And they do this because they start connecting with managements and stuff. The reason why that kind of shit works, they start connecting with these properties. They're the owners, the landlords, and the staff. And this is how that's done. Now somebody's going to say surveillance. Well, all I can tell you is this. A couple of things about that. Depending on your surveillance, this can malfunction. If the internet is disrupted, most shit is connected to the internet. If the battery is out, I mean, there's so many things. It's so many ways. It's not as complicated as people think. Come on, man. And that's because they want to fuck with the collective set, move shit, take shit. In some cases, they want their energy. So they're in there scrummaging for trash and shit. They're fucking weirdos. They're, so they can do their rituals and God knows what, who knows. So they could, you know what I'm saying, plant shit. It's a reason for all of that. But this is the stuff that happens to the targets. This is constant. Their phones get tapped and cloned. It's a thing. Look it up. Their apps, all of the stuff that most of the world is feeling so rested in their security is what's taken away from the targeted population. You go to the restaurant, you start getting more sick than you ever have in your life before. What is that about? One time it's a fluke. 2 times. 3 times. They have people to be mean and cruel, unusually, unnecessarily, routinely. They will infiltrate their work to influence their reputation, to try to pigeonhole them and get them fired. This is how this is bigger than everybody's got problems. If the target goes across the country, at some point, I'm gonna say this again, at some point, and if this person is a kind of person that stays to themselves, you have to take all these variables into account, because if y'all here going a while and out, it's going down. Chances are, this gonna be, we got to be honest with ourselves here. Now, if we're out here like that, then you might be racking on, boom, bitch. Living that street life, nope, listen, no qualms. This is your life, live it. But if the person is not, if they say to themselves, something wrong with that shit, that's when it becomes super, super duper obvious that it has to be deeper than. Because if the person ain't hanging out with nobody, and if they're not dating anybody, if none of this is happening, then what is the fuck wrong with all these motherfuckers then? So all these people then decide, and you have big groups, subgroups, little groups, and then it's all mashed in to make one big massive. People are trying to poison them constantly. People are fucking with their mail. People are fucking with, you know, the processes of things. They're even getting into their government shit too. Nevada's ass is gonna get chewed up. I don't care how long this shit gonna take. I'm gonna be grinning. These three, I'll be grinning. They're gonna get their ass chewed up. Bad. As well as Texas, workforce, all of them. Because again, they keep trying to play with our finances and our ability to take care of ourselves. In a covert way. And one of the terrible things about this is, like I said, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but when targets do attempt to at least try to expand and try to talk to people, they don't get it, honey. They just don't. They don't understand the nature of covert abuse. You know, some people, you know, as intelligent, like I said, I'm not even trying to be disrespectful or sly or nothing like that. It's when there's a limited because if people are doing it behind the scene, how can you touch it? Do you see what I'm saying? And we need not act like we don't understand that sabotage is the thing, and that people in positions of leadership, authority, and power could very much well wield it if they want to. I mean, I'm even removing the spiritual energetic side, because a lot of people are still not quite there to understand those types of things that are going on. But even if you remove that, and it's the other, just the agendas and stuff like that, it's still nasty. It's still sick. And they're doing this to my disabled son every day. Doing spell work. Some of y'all ain't catching up to that yet, but yeah, sitting on top of his fucking unit around the clock, having motherfuckers sit up in there doing spell work. Motherfuckers, weird dude sitting outside the other night. And I was all upset and did that video and shit like that. And I was up all night that night too. I didn't even go to, I don't think I went to sleep. I don't think I dropped or closed my eyes till maybe 5 or 6, if that. Because of shit like this. Random dude. I was cleaning and wiping the doorknobs and my son's door and shit. It wasn't uncomfortable that night. I was gonna be on surveillance myself that night, nigga. Because these people have been constantly playing fucking head games. He's just strange, just sitting there all night, strange. And then, I think, if I'm not mistaken, followed the next day or something like that, just sitting there strange. All night. 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Shit like that. Somebody and their kid is supposed to feel comfortable under those living conditions. people upstairs stomping and shit when they're there or whatever, whoever they schedule in unison, I don't know. Okay? I've decided that I wasn't going to feed any of this anymore, but at the end of the day, even when you take on that approach, this is the stuff. And it's with the intention to keep these threads going energetically. I don't want to get too deep into all that, but to keep these exchanges and these threads and to keep you fighting. But that's what that's about. And to try to get you caught up. I'm telling you, these people are trying to provoke targets to get caught up so that they can get in trouble. It's as clear as day. Meanwhile, they're the stalkers. The ones that's doing spell work around the clock. The ones that's putting weird shit on people's properties and shit. Illegally surveillancing. Okay? Whoa. So now, this is the stuff. And it's all to corner somebody in. See, the thing that has happened now, only thing this shit did is piss me off, and it's pissed off my support, my ancestry, I should say that. That's the only thing. Because see, what's funny is a lot of stuff would have slid, and there's going to be people hitting themselves in the ass, maybe at the end of the year or the beginning of next year. That's going to be hitting themselves in the ass, because if they didn't go all out and do too much like the fuck they did, a lot of stuff would have slid. See, but the ancestors is not having that, because at some point I was okay with letting go of what was stolen. See, I do understand no one owes me anything, but people do owe me what the fuck they stole from me. And they know who they are. Nobody don't owe any of us anything. You know, this is, you know, in respect of we going to people, and, you know, if you're asking people to support your mission, your cause, or in that, like, you know, whatever, no one owes. That's an accurate statement. But people do owe you if they stole from you. And that is equally an accurate statement. People do owe you if they stole from you. Okay? If people stole a property that would otherwise would have been what you could have been in, because that's what your ancestry wanted set up for you, so that you would not have to be struggling and going through various different situations as you're trying to alchemize, yes, they do. They do owe you. And they decided to not give it to you. Yes, they do owe you. They owe you what they stole from you. Yes, they do. I don't care if it was something that was an inherited thing that, you know, it doesn't matter. If it was assigned to the collective, it was yours. And if they hijacked it, they stole it, and they owe it. If they stole money, checks, gifts, whatever, they owe that. And on top of that, because these are things that would have otherwise made their target and their children's life a whole lot different. So this ain't about expecting handouts and thinking that the world owes them something and them having some kind of chip on their shoulder. This is about the incessant, consistent, continual infiltration in their lives by way of their hating ass family, exes, people who don't like them in Texas, anywhere and everywhere, violating their human and their civil rights. This has nothing to do with somebody wanting to be lazy and fickle and all over the place. This has everything to do with nigga, bitch. You played God. Like me and our children's life is dispensable. I have a problem with that. Did this for sports, for shits and giggles, hee-hees and ha-has. I have a problem with that. Sending distorted ass witches and warlocks and wizards and sorcerers and shit. I have a problem with that. Yeah, get fucked. Yeah. And then call us something. Want to calls themselves calling the cops and shit like that. That pissed me off when I found out. Hey, really? Okay. Now I know how to play the game. And guess what? This was all retaliation because I've been complaining about the noise. But that is truth. That's not a lie. It hasn't gotten resolved. That too is truth. And I caught them stalking me, them and their friends, on more than one occasion. Again, that too is truth. I'm not talking about them passing by my door. I said I've caught them stalking me. There's a difference. At the store, at the gym, over here, over there. See, when you can train and pick up a pattern there. There's a pattern. It wasn't a fluke. I didn't just see them one time and say, they're stalking me. All right, let's get the read here. Okay, so they tried to silence. These are covert tactics, okay? And I just mentioned it. It's called, under the RICO tab, it's called retaliatory action when, on whistleblowers or when someone speaks out. It's a tab under the, if you wanted to research predicated acts, under the RICO racketeering, and that's one of them. If you start telling the story of what they're doing to you, they start covertly, seeking retaliation. So they'll try to basically set you up to make something look like you did something that you really didn't do. They will, you see what I'm saying, make things even more difficult because you're speaking out. And that's exactly what's been going on. Okay? And so for you onlookers, on behalf of my collective out here that you may be watching and stuff, these people are exhausted. It's not that they don't want to talk to some of you. It's not that they don't want to, but it's an exhausting thing when you're already trying to pull everything that you have to survive. Because that's the energy that they have tried to continue to keep their targets in. So it gets a little annoying. It gets, because we know we live. We're not seeking opinions. Just for the record, that's not what we're doing. We're long past those phases. We know what we're living. So at this point, we're simply just connecting with anyone in the universe who either has resources and knowledge that's willing to assist, or, you know, those things, because we're not gonna be gaslit. And if it's not, even if it's not gaslighting, we just, you know, like I said, a matter of difference, people are not able to, that's okay. But we're holding on to what our truth is. Because this kind of shit don't stop until somebody can hang in there and hold on to their reality and their mind and hold on to the truth and not cave under these covert, manipulative, bullying tactics / abuse / we toxic / we trying to point / all this shit. And they do this like hoping that, okay, the collective is stripped of everything, or they're alone because they've had to isolate because of the betrayals, and they're trying to keep these loops going. I ain't gonna get deep on the energetic side of this shit, because it's deep. That's another reason why I'll go silent, just like that, because I'm working on my frequency. I'm working on my frequency. I'm clearing, working on my frequency, because that's going to be a part of my offense and defense. Because they've been feeding off of our nervous system. There are energy, emotion harvesting, man. They've been feeding off of torturing me and my fucking kid. And I'm gonna make them pay. Feeding and making money. Fucking. They sadistic asses sniggling and giggling and shit. They ain't gonna be sniggling and giggling when it's them and their kids. Guaranteed. Yeah, an influencer in the reverse. Here's the thing. These are people that they don't, I told y'all, out there, you guys may be an influencer and they don't like it. They don't like it. Goodness gracious. They don't like it. And if I got rid of everything I don't like, half of Texas would be gone. They don't like it. Okay? These people are trying to stop your influence, stop our influence. And one of the ways, the angles to that is attack the foundation. For you nerds out there that are similar to myself, you nerds, okay, you like studying and reading and shit. Abraham's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you fuck the foundation, you ain't going nowhere. The bottom of that pyramid, it's red, but it's representative of the basic needs. Survival, all those things. That's your foundation. So this is why they're always attacking that, because from there is where you build, from there is where you heal, from there is where you transcend, ascend, self-actualize, whatever you want to call it. You're not going to do this if you're constantly being traumatized every month. If you're in constant flight, fight, or freeze, you're your children. If you're constantly needing to, because you got all these weirdos hoovering around doing shit. That's why they attack it. That's why they come for their money, their jobs, their relationships.